My name is Jah.
Hey, I'm Dugo. You know how it is. We out here. I'm not sure what episode this is, but we're back at it again. We had some breaking news to start the show.
I think this is episode 5. Yo, big breaking news. If you guys, all right, do you want to break it or should I?
You go ahead. Go for it.
All right. So if you guys have the Sleeper app, which is an amazing app, you can play Dynasty football there, redraft. It's super customizable, amazing league. They even have betting if you're interested in that kind of thing. And I use Sleeper for our Dynasty and our redraft league. So Sleeper gives you notifications. They let you adjust your league, and they let you do a bunch of shit. But I just got a Sleeper notification, which means one of 3 things on March 3rd, 2022.
What's that, Jah?
I got a trade offer.
Dank.
There is breaking news.
What was the breaking news?
Well, it's either trade offer or breaking news. It ended up being breaking news.
Okay.
And a certain receiver from Ohio State ran a 4.26 40.
Okay. Who was this? I mean, I know they got a couple really good guys coming out. Was it Chris Olave or was it Garrett Wilson?
Who do you think it was?
I think it was Olave. I think he's a little quicker than Wilson.
A little bit.
Yeah?
A little bit.
Good for him, man. Chris Olave is a beast. I think that's going to probably make his stock jump up a little bit.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I could definitely see him possibly, I don't know, like I feel like a lot of fantasy mocks and even just mocks in general as far as like the NFL draft itself. It's kind of like flip-flop on him, like if he is a first-round prospect or if some people have him in the second. I think he's a bona fide first. I don't know. I think he's a bona fide first at this point. Like if anyone had him in the second, I think this definitely puts him right up there. I don't think he's wide receiver 1. I think Garrett Wilson and Jamison Williams. I think they hold the number 1 card. But I definitely would put him up there with like Treylon Burks, especially like with him having some drop issues and stuff today at the combine. What are your thoughts on Chris Olave?
Well, I like Chris Olave. I don't know if I'm taking him in the first round because I'm looking for a more well-rounded receiver.
Okay.
So Jamison Williams, Treylon Burks, David Bell, Drake London even. Mm-hmm. I am bigger on than Chris Olave.
Okay.
I think Jahan Dotson is a beast. I think obviously you have, and I'm blanking on the quarterbacks. Forgive me. You're talking about like Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, Isaiah Spiller.
Yeah.
So you're already at like 9.
Yeah.
You're gonna slip another, receiver in there to make it a well-rounded 10. And so, do you take Chris Olave or are you taking someone along the lines of like? Maybe, I guess you can't really compare him to Jalen Tolbert because Jalen Tolbert's going to be so much later in the draft, apparently. But he had a really impressive 40. He ran really fast. Mm-hmm. And we've seen that in one of 2 ways. There's a Tyreek Hill who ran a 4.29, and he's Tyreek Hill, wide receiver 1 if you have him in Dynasty. But then there's also a John Ross who ran a 4.22, and I haven't seen a John Ross highlight since like 2019.
I think he's out of the league. If he's not, I don't know where he is.
Yeah. So, we've seen speedsters win and fail. But the thing that also kind of draws me a little bit off of Chris Olave is, I guess, I don't know. I feel as if he worked in a system that really benefited his skill set. You had to pay so much attention to Jamison Williams because he was... I'm talking about Chris Olave and like his success in college.
Yeah, he had Garrett Wilson as his counterpart.
I'm sorry, Garrett Wilson. I apologize. Jameson played for Alabama. Garrett Wilson was a stud, and he did so many things, and he's probably the primary option in that offense.
Yeah, for sure. I think regardless with Ohio State, they have so many wide receiver prospects coming out of there, including Marvin Harrison Jr. coming out in a couple of years.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm keeping my eye on him coming out of the draft here in a couple of years. And they have, I mean, I don't want to dive too deep into like the college guys because it's not really worth our time right now. But man, like they have a stockpile of wide receivers coming out of Ohio State in the next couple of years. So keep your eyes out on those guys.
Yeah.
Dang man, yeah. I mean, Chris Olave 4.26. I don't know,
That's
man.
impressive, dude. That's really fast.
It is. It really is. I saw that my boy Kyle Phillips, he threw up a 4.5.
Really?
Yeah. He's a wide receiver coming out of UCLA.
Wait, all right. So me and Dugo just watched the combine. We're streaming it on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
Do you remember the name of that channel that we watched on?
I don't off the top of my head. But they did a really good job with it. It was Fantasyland.
Dynasty Football.
Yeah, Fantasyland Dynasty Football. They had a really good cast out there. Appreciate them doing all that for us.
All right, so you know what? We have a Dynasty League. Me and Dugo both play in it. We play with just a bunch of homies that we play fantasy with for a couple years now. And one of our homies is really big on Chris Olave, apparently, in the 40s. He's really big into just, like, metrics, measurements, height, weight. He's the, like, analytical guy. We call him Edner. I'm going to call Edner and see what he thinks about Chris Olave. Throwing it on speaker. Yo.
Holy shit.
What?
Christian Watson.
What are you on?
4.26.
He ran the same as Olave.
Wait, what?
Wait, no.
Wait.
He ran a 4.28, I think.
Oh.
Isn't he Trey Lance's boy from North Dakota?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he was his boy, but...
Huh.
Those are unofficial, though, so they might get changed, but holy shit.
I mean, even if he's a 4.3, I think that's going to bump him up.
Bro, he is so explosive. He jumped a 38.5-inch vertical, and he had an 11-foot 4-inch broad jump, which is number 1 so far.
Uh-huh.
That's sick.
Yeah, he seems explosive.
Hey, you're on the podcast, by the way, so don't say anything, like, incriminating.
It's going to be hard for a team to not take him at least in round 2. I don't know how any team's going to let him go into round 3. I mean...
Wait.
God.
So you're taking him over Chris Olave?
Well, this Chris Olave running a 4.26 makes him a first-rounder.
He has to be. He's 6'1".
Teams love speed. Marquise Brown was the first receiver drafted in his class.
Yep.
Just because of his speed. I mean,
Yep.
you want to stretch the field, but
Yeah.
God damn, Christian Watson I wish he was a little bit heavier, but and you watch some of his tape blocking down the field.
That's
It
sick.
looks like he's a very well-rounded receiver.
He has a really good prospect grade, too. Do you ever use NFL.com for, like, their, rookie projections, analysis, like, all that kind of stuff?
Rookie projections and analysis.
They do like a prospect grade, basically.
Maybe I've seen that after drafts and combines. I don't know. I don't really use much of NFL.com.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
These receivers are just it's insane how fast some of these guys are running right now.
Dude, this is a really great class.
Yeah, some of these guys are just blazing speed. I mean, Garrett Wilson running a 4.33. I think that's what his unofficial time was. Like,
Alex Pierce had the same thing.
How do I pass up on Garrett Wilson with my pick in our rookie draft at 102 if he's available? I mean, it's tough. It's tough. It's gonna be tough to.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pick. You're gonna have to pick between him and Traylon Burks.
Yeah, to be honest, I hope Greg takes Breece Hall just so I don't have to make that decision.
Oh my God!
Running backs just hold their value so well that at 102 it'd be hard for me to pass Breece Hall.
Jesus.
But goddamn, I want Garrett Wilson or Traylon Burks so bad.
Dude, imagine if Greg actually said fuck it and just took Jameson Williams first overall.
That'd be
or Traylon Burks. Like just a receiver in general.
Yo, there's absolutely no way. I mean, if I have to, I will literally tell Greg to draft Brees Hall.
You're sketch. You can't tell him to do shit.
No, I wouldn't actually, but
Collusion.
That is collusion. Y'all are
I'm gonna go
roommates.
to Greg's team right now.
Yeah.
His top 2 running backs are A.J. Dillon and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which isn't terrible. But then he has just Chuba Hubbard. He has Rashad Penny and Melvin Gordon, so I guess
He has A.J. Dillon, too.
I guess it's not terrible depth.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have, like, an elite upside running back.
Yeah, he needs Brees Hall. He needs a Brees Hall. Yeah, you're right. He's going to take Brees Hall first.
Other than that, his team's not terrible, but yeah, he just lacks depth, which is it's usually what separates the good and the bad teams.
Yeah. What do you think of Michael Carter-Williams?
Damn. I mean, I think he's a solid running back piece of that offense. It just guys like that just comes down to if they get the passing game work. If he can, it's like the same with Kenny Gainwell. I mean, if
True. It's pretty similar because they're both in committees.
I mean, we play half PPR.
Yeah.
Guys like that I like a little bit more in PPR, but
yeah.
I mean, if he gets some early down work and secures the passing role, yeah, I like pieces of that offense, which is weird to say because it's the Jets.
It's the Jets, yeah, and it's a little... So, like, Zach Wilson is basically, like, the main counterpart you kind of got to worry about because everything relies on how well he, like, progresses in his development. And so, if he comes out next year and he takes that leap forward, like Dugo's kind of hoping he does...
Sure hope he does, yeah.
Then all of those Jets weapons, like, taken immediately. Like, I'm talking Michael Carter, I'm talking Elijah Moore, I'm talking Corey Davis, potentially Drake London if they end up taking Drake London there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everyone in that offense takes a really big leap forward. But if Zach Wilson can't get that team past 2 or 3 or 4 wins, then Michael Carter is someone I'm probably going to have to, you know, I'm going to have to be a lot lower on. Elijah Moore even. Elijah Moore had an outstanding rookie year, but
yeah, I don't think Drake London is gonna go 110 to the Jets anymore.
I don't think at 10, but maybe at the end of the first, beginning of the second, he could go because they have a ton of draft picks.
It's gonna be tough for teams to. I still think London goes early, but it's gonna be tough for teams to pass up on some of these other receivers in favor of London at this point.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough, just because of what they did at the combine.
And to what you said about Zach Wilson getting more than 4 or 5 wins, I think is what you said.
Yeah.
See, I don't really look at if they're able to become necessarily a winning team for fantasy success, just because, I mean, you look at Jameis Winston, the dude threw 30 touchdowns and 30 picks. They were an average team, but, I mean, it produced fantasy success. Like, if Wilson is willing to chuck it,
yeah,
which I think he is.
He's always willing to throw down the
field.
field.
It might negatively affect his stock a little because of picks, but
yeah,
I mean, you got to be willing to put your receivers in positions where they could succeed, even if it doesn't look great.
Yeah,
from perspective,
give them the opportunity to make a play.
Definitely,
no doubt.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think he's willing to, and I like their coaches. So
yeah,
I mean, I think they're turning around.
Fair enough. Well, hey, I appreciate you tapping in. I'm gonna let you go.
I mean, I don't really mind. I just love looking at these receiving.
Are you watching the combine right now?
I was. I mean, I got most of the 40s from guys that I was interested in.
Yeah.
Jahan Dotson looks pretty good.
Jahan Dotson looks amazing.
I mean, he jumped 36 inches.
Yeah.
What did he run?
I got it.
I'd imagine like a 4.4.
I can get it here.
Yeah.
He ran a 4.43.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4.43. I mean, people were probably expecting a little bit faster, but that's ideal for him.
And he probably did it. Did he go twice?
I'm not sure.
A lot of these receivers ran it once and just said, fuck it, like, just take my score as it is.
Yeah, I mean, but they also have their pro days coming up, too, so they're going to have a whole nother opportunity to show what they have with the 40 and all their other skill sets.
Yeah.
Yo, so what do you guys think of George Pickens?
Shoot.
Weren't we just talking about him?
I think we were. I'm very in between on the guy. I think he should be something. I really do.
He ran a 4.4.
Yeah, he ran a 4.4 flat. Yeah, that's pretty dank.
Which was very surprising for me.
Yeah, honestly, dude, I think so. His biggest gripe coming out of Georgia was that, like, I think, like, his freshman, sophomore, like, obviously he didn't get to play his junior because of his torn ACL. But I think his biggest gripe was that he wasn't a very hard worker, like, on his run blocking and stuff. Like, he just went through the motions. Like, he wasn't really, like, faking out on his routes or anything. Like, he kind of...
Oh, yeah. He threw a punch in a game, too, right?
Yeah, like, he kind of has just some of those underlying issues that teams don't really want to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with this torn ACL, I think, like, just going through something like that and having, like, that mental diversity to fight back and come back and obviously run a 4.4 and looking really good.
Yeah.
I think maybe his work ethic may have changed with that process. And so, you know, maybe he does come back a better pro than what he was. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like guys that play with emotion.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I think that if we give Drake London shit for being supposedly 6'5", 210 or whatever he was, and everybody freaked out about his weight, George Pickens is 6'3", 190.
Yeah,
At the combine, they had him 195, so a little better, but not much.
He's pretty wiry though.
Yeah.
You said 195?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not terrible, but it's a little light.
It's pretty light, and so, like,
you never know though. I mean, he could hit NFL, he could come into training camp at like 205, 210.
Yeah. He could put on some weight, and that's ideally, but
for sure.
In terms of him getting on the field with the team, like, is he going to be in when they need to run block? Is he going to get held up on the line and press coverage? Like, when he's playing bigger DBs, like, how... Like, I know he can run fast, but how often is he going to get that opportunity?
Yeah, especially if he is facing press. Just one thing that, like, if you're watching film on the kid, off the line, like, you know how with Devontae, it seems like the DBs can't get his hands on him.
Yeah.
With Pickens, is almost like the exact difference. Like, if you have, like, the corner playing off of him, he's able to kind of do his thing.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, off the line, it just seems like he just... I don't know, like, he'll try to do, like, a little bit of, like, a hook to the left and, like, you know, shoot back to the right. But, like, there's nothing dynamic with it, you know? Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah, he's explosive.
I think, like, he's known, like, he's been, like, better than everyone, like, his whole life, it seems like. And, like, in high school, like, he was able to get away with some of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And college, you're still kind of you're going to be able to get away with some of that lackluster off-the-line technique. And I think, I hope the NFL doesn't shock him with that. I think he knows what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I hope he's trained for it. I hope he does.
He played at Georgia, though.
Yeah, I mean,
he played in the SEC,
Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, so that definitely helps him, too. I don't know, are you taking George Pickens in the second or third round?
Are you talking about in the NFL?
Let's go bold. Yeah, tell me where would you take him if you're organization in the draft, and just you in Dynasty going into the rookie draft. Where are you taking him?
I mean, in the NFL, just like I was talking about earlier with Christian Watson. I mean, there's a ton of wide receiver talent in this draft. Like, there's not a ton of, I guess, elite talent, but you look at some of these guys, I mean, Garrett Wilson, Traylon Burks, there's still some really good elite prospects, but the depth, I mean, the second and third rounds of the NFL draft, I think are going to be littered with receivers.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, George Pickens, it's going to be hard for him to fall into the third round. Like, I don't know how you let a guy like that drop in the third round, but...
I don't think it happens.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, I know where I stand, but... How do you guys feel about David Bell? He ran, I think, like 4.6 something.
Yeah, 4.68.
Yeah, he had a really bad combine. I'll keep it above.
Good, but
yeah,
God, I love his talent, dude.
I think he's talented as fuck, but like he had a bad combine.
He shredded Iowa. Yeah. They were one of the best defenses in the country, and he went for 240 yards in a big game. Like that's just stuff that you can't show in a combine.
So,
I'm sorry.
What really worried me wasn't the 40. I know that he ran like a 4.6. He ran a 4.6 twice because he ran it a second time.
Yeah, no,
4.65 he ended with.
not explosive.
Yeah, so like obviously you see that speed isn't something that isn't maybe his strongest suit. But I was watching him catching passes from the quarterbacks, and he had a couple drops there too. Mm-hmm. And so like I mean, like can he run routes? Definitely. So should you draft him? Definitely. But where do you draft him is really the big gray area. Like that's the spot to where I think you have a lot more ambiguity, you know.
I think he plays faster than he runs, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know, man. Like just like some of like those cuts, like you're right. He definitely isn't a speedster, but I think when he's making those routes, like he gets people on their asses. Like he breaks ankles.
He's extremely efficient.
Yeah, like I don't know, like he's truly he's efficient with what he is. There was some people like making comparisons to him, almost like a Devontae Adams coming out of.
That's not
well,
fair.
You gotta look at
that's
like,
not fair.
You gotta look at where Devontae Adams was coming into the combine, though. You can't look at what he is as a finished product.
Regardless, that's not fair because you could find similar comps that didn't end up being Devontae Adams.
Well, of course, I'm just saying. Like,
when you say Devontae Adams, you're implying that there's the upside of Devontae Adams.
I mean, they're definitely maybe not the true upside of Devontae, being a true one, but I definitely think he could be a extremely efficient wide receiver in the NFL.
I think
someday we could maybe someday we could see him being a top 10. Who knows?
That was like a TV draw comp.
Maybe, man. Like you could definitely get some clicks on that. But
I think people were comparing him to Devontae pre-combine because, I mean, people sort of knew the writing was on the wall. He was not going to be that athletic.
No.
Yeah.
And Devontae didn't test out that athletic. But the thing about Devontae is he was a second-round pick. And I sent something in our group chat, but I don't value the 40 a ton, but NFL GMs might, and it usually will correlate to certain draft capital. So him running a 4.65, it is not the end-all, be-all.
Yeah.
If NFL GMs don't like that, and he falls into day 3, it's going to be tough to buy in on David Bell because that draft capital, Devontae had it. He was a second-round pick. So.
David Bell's NFL comp to me is like Jeremy Maclin, but maybe a tad bit slower.
That's an interesting comparison. I mean, I could see why you think that.
I think he's Jeremy Maclin at his peak.
Maclin was so fast.
He was fast, exactly. So that's the thing about David Bell. I think David Bell, like Dugo says, plays a little bit faster than what his 40 is. Mm-hmm. Just how he accelerates out of cuts and things like that. But I think in terms of his route running ability, he's still top tier. He runs great routes for the most part. They're not as fast and as quick, but they're crisp and they're clean. And he's where he needs to be and where the quarterback expects him to be to give him a 15-yard out route or a 20-yard corner strike. So I think he runs routes very well, but I don't think that he has that burst to go and break it off for a touchdown, unless there's just bad coverage.
It's actually my comparison. It's interesting. It's an easy guy to compare to because I mean he's a big name, but Calvin Ridley, if he were less athletic, which is funny because Calvin Ridley is not super athletic, and it's also funny because Garrett Wilson I see as a Calvin Ridley type player, but far more athletic.
Really?
And David Bell is like Ridley, but he's just less athletic. It's kind of a lazy comparison because it's basically just they're all very good route runners and tacticians.
Damn, you compare Garrett Wilson to Calvin Ridley though?
Garrett Wilson, yeah, he plays like Calvin Ridley, but with juice.
He's heavier than Calvin Ridley though.
What'd you say?
He's heavier than Calvin Ridley, isn't he? Like by 10, 20 pounds? Because Calvin's pretty light.
20 pounds heavier.
Garrett Wilson is 6 foot 188. So yeah, you're right. Yeah, he can't be that much. Damn. Huh. I didn't think about that.
No. I was about that he's at 192.
Damn. Okay.
6 foot 192. Yeah, that's solid. Ridley's probably around there, but that's the thing about Ridley. Like you were saying with Bell.
Yeah.
He's not going to be much after the catch. Because of the lack of athleticism.
Huh.
Hey, Edner.
Separates Wilson.
At the combine, they had him 6 foot 183.
Calvin Ridley?
No,
Garrett Wilson.
Oh, really? 183?
183.
Wow.
He probably just wasn't also like.
You think he was cutting weight for the 40?
Yeah, like I don't think players are the same weight in the off season as they are in season.
I don't think he was cutting weight for the 40. I think I don't know what happened to him.
He might have.
They might have just been boosting him up at Ohio State the whole time. I mean, this isn't the first time this has happened.
He could have just been heavy when he weighed in that one day.
Maybe.
Interesting. Because I know running backs sometimes will, put on a weight just for the combine. Or take off weight, whatever you're looking to do.
Yeah, a lot of athletes will, just in general. Like, some will bulk up so they can lift more, and... Yeah, no, that's the thing. So
That's interesting. I'm not going to hold Wilson's weight against him just because I don't think he's ever had really a significant injury.
Yeah.
Take that with a grain of salt because I'm not sure, but...
He's going to be a great prototype for
so.
Dynasty success. He should be in the top 3 of fantasy drafts this year.
Yeah, I think
regardless
so.
of 1, 2, or 3, you need to take him at the top of the draft. Jamison Williams is another guy too who's going to go lower because of his ACL, but he is amazingly talented. Like, he's a complete receiver. He can do everything well. Speaking of juice, Jarvis Landry is probably not going to end up on the Browns next year.
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think he's going to be there.
Nah, he's been talking that shit, and like, let him get his shit off because Odell just got a ring.
Facts, man. I don't know. Like, we've seen a lot of people definitely, like, kind of take their own destiny into their hands. Which I give them all the power to do that. I think it's a great thing to do. I think taking your power and utilizing it to make sure, like, you get out of your career what you want. Like, obviously, OBJ, he wanted a ring. He went and got his ring. Now, if he wanted, he could retire.
Yeah. Honestly, like, I was a really big OBJ fan, like, from the jump. I drafted him in 2014 in a redraft. He was a super late round pick. He was injured the first few weeks of his career, so you basically didn't have to draft him with any draft capital. And he did a lot for me. That was a really memorable season in my fantasy history because of what Odell, was doing. That was the year he had, the quote-unquote catch against the Cowboys in Sunday Night Football.
Yeah, that was a dead catch.
That was a crazy catch. And, like, I say all that to say, like, I'm a really big fan, and I have been. But he should consider retirement.
Yeah.
He's 30. He's made guap. He's been on 3 different teams. He has his ring. He has a kid now. He has his girl. Like, dog, like, you don't have to show us anything else.
Yeah.
You were a contributor in the Super Bowl game. You got your touchdown. You had a couple catches. The defense focused on you the whole first half. You don't have anything else to prove besides you can come back from another injury. And, like, do we need to see that more than... I would just... Yeah, like, you should just be healthy and, like, living life. Like, dog, like, you're a celebrity. Like, you can go do movies now. You can go... just be a socialite and make money in 1,000 different ways.
Advertisements,
You're Odell Beckham Jr., dog. Like, you don't need football anymore.
Honestly. Yeah, I don't know. Like, if he does go off, good for him. I think he's made a great career, and obviously he has plenty of other things he can do. So,
no doubt.
Props to him for getting out and obviously getting out before
that's not hate.
damn
That's not hate either. That's like a shout out. Like,
yeah. I think he's earned it. Like,
you went crazy. Like, go enjoy that. Like, go live life.
Yeah.
Good
on you, OBJ. Whatever you do, man.
Speaking of players that are, I guess, like, in terms of dynasty leagues, there's a lot of question marks around them. What do you do if you're a Devin Singletary owner?
If you're a Devin Singletary owner, I think at this point you kind of have to hold him.
You don't trade him before the draft?
I mean, that's kind of the thing. It's whatever you think whatever you think the Bills will do, honestly. Like, if you have any sort of insight with the Bills and, like, if they're looking to draft a running back, then maybe you trade them before they draft someone in, like, the second, Like, what if they do get someone and scoop it?
What if?
And they turn out to be a huge thing. Or, like, I even saw they were considering trading for Saquon.
Which they should do.
That would be crazy.
That would be the perfect match. And
yeah, I think you have you have so many wows on that team, and then to be able to really, I don't know, like you finally have like a star running back. Like I feel that team, they've had like a bunch of like just plug in plays the last couple of years.
Saquon on the Bills just makes sense too.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just sounds like it makes sense, you know?
Yeah, I could definitely see it.
You need a big back in Buffalo, like you're playing outdoor games. You got, Josh Allen, Stephon, Dawson Knox. Mm-hmm. Like you guys are kind of like a gritty, like finesse, but also can hit him in the mouth. Like Devin Singletary is a pretty like,
he's a smaller back. He's like 5'10",
but he's not scared of contact.
No, he doesn't shy away from contact. You're not wrong. Yeah, Devin Singletary definitely can take a punch to the mouth.
Zach Moss was the same way too.
Yeah.
So like if you can get Saquon who can catch and can run, and has enough talent to be drafted 5th or 6th overall in the NFL draft, like imagine what that does if you sign him to a second contract and a good deal.
Right.
For your team with Josh Allen. You don't have to rely on Josh Allen every single game anymore. They now have to be honest.
Right, yeah. I mean, like, you got to start to kind of stack the box a little bit. You got to, like you said, keep them honest. You can't let them have 5-6 DBs out there at a time. I mean,
no.
DBs have a hard enough time trying to tackle Saquon. I mean,
they get tired too.
Yeah, you'll have to have some mismatches out there, and you'll have to, obviously, the Bills know how to take advantage of those. So, good on them if they do that. What would you trade for Saquon? Would you give him like a second or?
I would give him an early second.
Yeah.
You're not touching any of my first for Saquon.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fuck that. That's a terrible trade. If you trade a first for Saquon right now, as talented as Saquon can be, we haven't seen it in almost 3 years.
Yeah, he is an injury bug.
Like, once you get over a year, once you get to 2 years of injuries, I'm out.
Yeah.
Because after that point, I feel as if I can't really rely on you. And that was the one mistake I made with that was I think Keenan Allen.
Okay.
He tore his ACL one year and then he had another injury the second year, but then he hasn't really been hurt the last few years.
No, he's been popping off. He was just a top 10 receiver.
But he's the exception because every other time else that, a situation similar happens, the player usually ends up being a bust.
Devontae Adams continues to get hurt.
I wouldn't say hurt. Like, he wasn't tearing his ACL off for the season.
You're right.
He was just getting dinged up and playing through it.
Yeah.
I meant, like, they can't play, like, they just, for whatever reason, seem to end up in the medical tent all the time. Mm-hmm. Saquon's one of those players that spends a lot of time in the medical tent.
He does. Yeah, the trainer's got to be his best friends.
And, like, he's so heavy, but the way he twitches is, like, kind of Odell Beckham-ish.
Yeah, it's almost unsafe for his body.
It's like he twitches so quickly and like at weird angles because he makes different types of cuts and like he weighs a lot. So like it never like you do that a couple of times over and then one of those times like you're gonna put too much weight on your ankle or
right. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, it can just go downhill.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, like it's one of those things to where it would worry me a little bit.
Another person who's kind of had me worried. Not necessarily worried, but. I just don't know what to think of him coming into this next season, coming off an injury. Travis Etienne. What do you think about him, man? He got drafted in like the late first round last year. The Jags went and got Trevor Lawrence's boy, and
early in Dynasty.
I don't know, man. Like this guy, he definitely I think he was a stud in Clemson. I truly do. Mm-hmm. And then obviously he goes off, and I'm not sure if he tore his ACL or if he tore his Achilles. I forgot which injury he had.
Yeah.
But it's unfortunate. But he's coming back, and I mean, we've seen numerous people come back from ACLs, and we just saw Cam Akers come back from his Achilles injury. So, hey, like I don't know if he comes back next year ready to rock. I think if you're in a redraft league, I think you could still have this guy as like a bona fide number one back because I don't think the Jags are going to draft anyone else.
Yep.
Like, I mean, they have James Robinson, which, I mean, he's going to steal some carries, but you have Travis Etienne, who I think they drafted last year to be the number one in that room, and I think this year it's going to come to fruition.
I agree with you. I think that his value in redrafts is going to be a lot cheaper than what it's going to be in Dynasty.
Yeah.
Because Dynasty holders obviously are all in it for the long run. So, like, dude got hurt one season. Yeah, that sucks. But it's like, they're still probably going to hang on to the dude and, like, give him another season to prove himself.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, they just drafted him in the first round. I mean,
like we were talking about a couple minutes ago, like, I need at least 2 injury seasons in a row before I start considering trading, like, a young supposed stud. And so Travis Etienne in redraft leagues is going to go really late. And he's going to go really late because he sat out all of last year. People forgot about him, and they're going to overdraft James Robinson.
I mean, if you're in a decent redraft league, I think he's still going to go probably around, like, 10. I think if he slips past 10, I think it's kind of a joke.
I agree with you, but the thing is, to get an RB1 or RB2, you typically have to spend capital within the first
5.
3 to 5 rounds.
Yeah.
You got to spend 4th round capital, 5th round capital on your RB2 maybe.
Yeah.
At worst. So imagine getting a RB2 in round 10.
Yeah, I don't know if
that's a league 10. Winner. That's a league winner, but you just said 10.
I mean, like, if he slips, like, I'm just saying, like, if you're drafting, like, with a bunch of scrubs though, like, if you know who, like, if you have a league with people who actually, like, pay attention, and, like, you're listening to this podcast, they're listening to this podcast, like, they understand what's going on in fantasy. I think then, like, they understand, like, hey, Travis Etienne, if they truly slip past, like, 5 or 6, you might be doing something wrong, folks. I don't know, like, I think, like, he might drop a little just because he does have a little bit of a target share probably happening with James Robinson to start. Mm-hmm. But, dude, I think by the end of the year, I think he'll be the bona fide number 1. 100%.
Yeah, he's a really good pass catcher. Which
extremely well.
Really helps you if you play a half or a full PPR league.
Good blocker, too, so you know he can be out there every 3rd down.
And it's the Jags, so you know they're going to be behind a lot. Yeah, so he's going to get a lot of run.
Yeah, T. Lawrence is going to need some checkdowns.
His redraft status next year is TBD, but I'm really big on Travis Etienne next year.
100%, man. Yeah. I mean, just keep it in the same conversation. Where would you put James Robinson, then?
I would keep James Robinson 2 to 3 rounds behind Etienne.
Yeah.
Wherever Etienne goes, whether that be the 5th, 6th, 8th, give me James Robinson in the 10th then.
For sure. You know, someone's name that's been coming up a lot lately in the last few weeks, just like after the season, Amari Cooper. I mean, he seems like he's on the trade block. I don't know if the Cowboys have truly said, yes, we want to get rid of him or anything. Because why would a team want to get rid of Amari Cooper? Yeah. But, like, dude, like, I feel like that wide receiver room could lose someone. And he's going to be having such a big hit on their cap to where, like, they could definitely bring in some other people if they were to get rid of, someone that has as big a cap hit as he does. I'm sorry, but, like I just said, that room is already crowded. You can let go of cap. It just seems like a win-win. And Amari gets his touches again. Like, I think he's kind of pissed that he's in such a big target share over there. Where do you think his landing spot is? Where would you like to see him if you own him?
Speaking of Travis Etienne, I would think that it would obviously either be at the Jaguars. I could see the Chargers. Okay. The Chargers are someone losing Mike Williams. They have Keenan Allen out there.
Maybe he'd be a really good compliment.
Maybe you just double down on, like, the 27, 28-year-old receivers that are established.
Yeah, like, hey, like, Justin, here are the pieces. We want you to go win it now type stuff. I could see that for sure.
Amari in Kansas City would be amazing.
That would be stupid. I don't know if the Chiefs really need to draft, or I don't know if they need to trade someone. I don't know if they have the cap, really.
But the Cowboys trading him to the AFC is why I think the Chargers and the Chiefs could be potential landing spots.
That makes sense, but I guess, like, another landing spot could be, like, the Browns.
I could see the Browns. But here's the thing about Amari, is that he's 27. I think he'll be 27 or 28 by the next year. Yeah. The thing about Amari is that he's one of those players that doesn't strictly rely on his physicality to win. He's an amazing route runner. He runs really crisp, like, leaves you with broken ankles type of routes. Yeah. He's an outstanding route runner, which is always going to translate to more success as he gets towards, more towards the latter part of his career. So the thing with him is that he's going to be, whether it be as a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, shit, even a red zone target. He's going to have importance for offenses for the next 3 to 5 years.
Okay, so
just because of his skill set and how well he is, and he's only 27 right now.
Yeah, I feel that. So, I mean, obviously, Devontae Adams, I think he's like 31, 32, so they have like a 5-year difference, and Tay seems like he's only getting better and better.
Tay's like 28?
I thought Devontae was in his 30s.
Is he?
Yeah, I thought so. I thought so, at least. I thought Devontae Adams is definitely, like 31 or 32.
You could be right.
But like regardless, like with that being said, like it just shows that hey, this guy could definitely have a lot of time left as well. It seems like Amari hasn't taken a bunch of huge hits in his life. He's 29.
Yes, yeah, Devontae's 29 years old.
Yeah, so I mean, a couple years, but like I don't know. I don't know if
30 in December.
Yeah, 30 in December. So who knows? I don't think Devontae's gonna see a huge drop off once he hits 30. And I also don't think Amari has taken a bunch of huge hits in his life to make him, have any huge regression. So
that's exactly why I agree with you on that point. But also, as we just said about Devontae, like Devontae,
why are we comparing everyone to Devontae?
Because Devontae is the GOAT.
He is.
He is the GOAT. But Amari's like 2 years younger than Devontae, and we're already projecting Devontae to have another year or two, regardless of Aaron Rodgers or not.
Yeah.
You gotta at least give Amari 3 out of respect because he is a damn good receiver.
For sure. So like, I guess, walk me through what you're thinking right now as a Amari owner. Like, do you want to get rid of him? Or
yes.
Why exactly do you want to get rid of him?
I want to get rid of him because I think his value is somewhat peaking.
Okay.
Because you don't know where he's going, but the place that he's coming from has an amazing passing offense. So even if things all fall down and he stays there, he still has a tremendous ceiling.
Facts. That's true.
So regardless, he's in a win-win situation.
Okay, and I guess someone looking to buy him, like, what would they? What
you have to give up a first out of respect, because he's 27 and he's been an established wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2. His reputation and his resume is too good to take anything less than at least a late first. If you do a late first for Amari straight up, that's a fair ass deal, because you're essentially risking a borderline wide receiver 2 or round 2 receiver.
Yeah. And
in return, you're getting a wide receiver 1, whether he stays or goes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good assumption for where you can value him. Yeah, I mean, he's a do-it-all wide receiver out there. He truly can do whatever you want. Just like you said, he's just limited right now with that market share. So once he gets out of there, if he does... I think he definitely has a little bit more of an upside. If he doesn't, I think he's still going to be probably around like top 15. So
can you imagine if he takes DJ Chark's spot in Jacksonville?
I think DJ Chark's going to stay around there for a while.
You think so?
Yeah, I think if anything, he might take Chenault's spot.
No way.
Or honestly,
Chenault's on a contract for like 2 more years.
Yeah, Chark is gone. You're right there.
Chark's out of here in free agency, basically.
Yeah, and it didn't seem like he wanted to go back. From what I had seen, I don't know. I guess that scheme, I don't know. We'll see what happens with Doug Peterson down there. I think that could be a really good fit, and I think he'd know how to utilize Amari really well. I mean, he was able to win a Super Bowl with Alshon Jeffrey, for God's sakes.
Dude, we should go to Houston.
That'd be cool. That'd be fun.
That would be sick.
I don't know, man. A couple more talking points. There's someone out there right now. I think we may have touched on him earlier.
Okay.
But I don't like this guy all that much. I think you may have loved this guy for the longest time. Oh. And I'm not sure what your thoughts are, but Scary Terry.
Oh, shit, dude.
Remember how much you love this guy?
No, I'm here for Scary Terry. All right. First off... Oh my god, where do we start?
All right. Start with your love of him. Do you love him still?
I never loved him.
Bullshit.
I never loved him. Never ever. So Scary Terry is 26 years old. Scary Terry for the last 2 to 3 years, if you played, dynasty leagues, if you even played redraft leagues, he's been touted as this great prospect because he was the number one option on the Washington team, and he was apparently pretty young. He was drafted not too long ago. I think that he was drafted, I want to say, in like 2018, something like that. 2019 he was drafted. And so it's 2022 now. We're entering the 2022 draft. So he's only been around for 2 to 3 years. So everyone has like this tremendous ceiling for him without realizing, or I guess at least referring to the fact that when he got drafted, he was already 23 years old.
Yeah.
Scary Terry is going to be 27 by the time the 2022 NFL season starts. Amari Cooper is 27 right now.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. It seems like Amari's been in the league forever.
Let me repeat that. Terry McLaurin is going to be 27 years old at the beginning of the 2022 season. Amari Cooper is currently 27 years old.
That's wild. I never thought of it that way. Do you think like Terry McLaurin like came from like a different dimension and it like just so happened to turn 27? Like I would never have pictured him being that old.
He was born in September of 95.
God dang. Wow, man. Like, that's crazy.
And the thing is, he's never finished as a wide receiver one either.
No, he's never finished close.
People always reference him like he has like just this tremendous ceiling. Like he has all this room to grow. Mm-hmm. But my biggest thing has been, he's been the primary option on a shitty team that always has to throw to catch up. And he's never finished as a wide receiver one as it is. That's without help on the other side of him. So imagine what happens when the Washington team drafts another receiver, which they'll probably get this year, and it was in a receiver-heavy draft.
We gotta stop calling the Washington team. They're now the Commanders.
They're the bum 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 bum.
We are Commanders. Bum 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 bum. That's sick. That's awesome. I love it. I'm here for the energy.
That's some nasty ass energy.
But dude, like, do you think like maybe everyone is so high on him because like they see like what he can do? Like he's pretty dank out there.
He is good,
but like I think he's limited. Like I think Taylor Heineke, I think he's a decent quarterback. But like if you had him like on a prolific offense, I think he'd be different.
I think if Terry McLaurin had a Josh Allen or somebody like that, his ceiling would be higher.
Right.
But until
that happens,
until the Commanders go get themselves a quarterback that's proven, I've seen him at his peak. I mean, I've seen him when the team was shitty. They were always throwing, and he was the number one option.
Facts.
And Antonio Gibson wasn't as involved. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, what we've seen is his target share probably at the maximum it'll be in his whole career. Because you would hope that the team gets better from a bunch of different angles.
Uh-huh.
But the dude's going to be 27 at the beginning of the season. We've seen him as the number one option for about 3 years. We never get the results that we want to get out of him by the end of the year.
Right.
And realistically, I mean, if they go out and get somebody like a Drake London, like a Jameson Williams, like a, Jahan Dotson, any of like the top 5, top 6, top 7 wide receivers.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't explain why I would like Terry more than I liked him any of the past 3 years. And in the past 3 years, I've already been kind of off of him.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. So I guess kind of like how we were talking about with the other folk, as an owner, like you are with Amari, what would you trade for this guy if you needed like a wide receiver, and like if you wanted someone that had like maybe everyone's a little lower on him right now?
On Terry or Amari?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Let's walk it back on Terry McLaurin now.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what we were talking about with Amari Cooper.
Mm-hmm.
What would you want to give up for this guy if you were owning him, and if you were trading for him? What do you think is the right thing to give up? Obviously, you don't want to give up a first for this cat. I don't think.
I would give up a first for Terry McLaurin.
You would?
I think you have to, just out of respect, because he's been at the end of the season. I mean, I'm looking at it now. He ended last year as a wide receiver 25, the year before as a wide receiver 20, and the year before as a wide receiver 29.
Yeah.
So he stays in that lane of being like a wide receiver 2. But if the Washington team goes out and gets another, good receiver.
Yep.
Better than Curtis Samuel or, who's the other guy? All the other dudes that they have in the receiving core. I mean, you can't expect that anymore if he gets less target share. Don't let it be that they get a new quarterback in 2 years when he's negotiating his contract. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. Like, I think that he was a little overrated coming out. And he has the ability to step into the next lane of, like, elite wide receivers.
Yeah.
But I think that we've already seen him at his peak opportunity.
I think he's just kind of been limited. Because...
his quarterback isn't ever great, but, I mean, regardless, like, when you look at it last year, my man still got 130 targets. The year before, he had 134 targets, which is a lot of targets.
Yeah.
You had 130 targets last year, and you ended up as a wide receiver like 23.
True.
How does that happen?
I don't know.
I mean, I guess you could say they're trash targets, but, like, for reference at least, if you want to hear, like, what that compares to, last season, Jamar Chase had 128 targets.
Yeah.
And Jamar Chase ended the season as the wide receiver 5, wide receiver 3 if you're in standard leagues.
Yeah, so, maybe if he didn't have, like, so every target, like, do they count, like, even, like, ducks and stuff like that?
There's more specific stats and stuff that kind of breaks that down, but I'm saying, you got 130 targets and you could barely crack the wide receiver 2 ranks. Mm-hmm. Why the fuck would I ever take you as a wide receiver 1? I can't make that make sense. And so people have like this value on him because he's only been in the league 3 years, going on his 4th, but they don't understand that by the time the next year starts, he's 27 years old.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's old by any means because he still probably has a lot of time left.
For sure.
But, I mean, T. Higgins is going into his 3rd year, and he's like 24.
Yeah, he's extremely young. He might even be 23.
He might be 23. He might be 23 next year. And so, like, you're talking about a 4-year difference.
Yeah, so, like, from a dynasty perspective, there's obviously a change of value.
I guess,
but,
actually,
like, in redraft...
McLaurin's a year older, I want to say. Or his draft was 19 and Higgins was 20.
I think so. Maybe. You might be right on that. But regardless, but what you're saying is...
that's still like a 3-year...
yeah, so where would you take... Where would you take these... where would you take Terry in a redraft?
In a redraft, he would be my 4th option, probably most likely. But if I could get him as my 5th round pick,
yeah,
that would be ideal.
That'd be nice.
That'd be super cool. But I know there's always that dude who's like, Terry's just his guy.
Like, there's always someone in every draft
that loves Terry McLaurin.
They'll take him in like the 3rd or 4th for sure. Which, sure. I mean, with those targets, 130 targets, Randy, you gotta. Yeah. Because, like, let's see, like, who is the quarterback there next year. And, maybe if some of those targets turn into more catches turn into yards typically turn into touchdowns.
Like, if they don't get a quarterback next year and they're still playing with Taylor Heineke, or they, like, have to play with Jimmy G or something like that, that's only going to last a year or 2.
Right.
Like, they're just stalling until they can get into a draft position in a good draft, or a draft that's not this draft.
Totally, yeah. I think they'd be in, like, a perfect position to take, like, an outstanding quarterback in any other draft, but this year, like, yeah. I think they're sitting, like, 15 or something. Like,
roughly, yeah, I think so.
Like, regardless of who they're taking, I think they're reaching.
Yeah.
Like, even if they fall in love with, like, a Malik Willis or whoever it may be, a Sam Howell, Matt Corral, Kenny Pickett, whoever it might be, I don't know. Like, I just think whoever it is, they're reaching. What do you think what do you think about these quarterbacks?
I'm really big on Kenny Pickett.
You're big on Kenny Pickett. Why? Give me a little synopsis on him.
I watched his tape. Because, as you guys know, I don't watch college football. Mm-hmm. Watched his tape. Tape went kind of crazy. He was just fucking running around, like, throwing darts to every different part of the field at completely crazy angles. He seemed to always be having his head down the field,
composed,
looking for the play, looking for the right play. Mm-hmm. But another thing about him too is that he's accurate, and so his release is a little weird. If you ever see Kenny Pickett throw a football, it looks a little different than how it typically looks during the NFL game.
Do you think it's because of the size of his hand?
I don't know, but I think that's what caused the controversy over his hand size.
For sure. Didn't he get measured at like 8.5 inches? Or something like that?
I'm never speaking on a man's 8.5 inches.
8.5 inch hand size. Hands.
Kenny Pickett is going to be a great quarterback in the NFL. And I believe that whatever team gets him is going to benefit tremendously. And if you have that team's respective wide receivers, you should.
You think there's going to be some upside with it?
No doubt. And I think he might go to the Panthers at 6.
Interesting. I mean, we did see like a little thing during the combine where I guess like his first initial commitment was to Temple, where Matt Rule was the coach of. So, kind of like with Cliff Kingsbury, where he always wanted Kyler Murray, but never got the chance. Maybe this is their opportunity to lock up together and, see what they can do.
I can see it.
So, yeah, man, I could definitely see some stuff like that. I don't know if I would see them taking him at 6, though. I feel like they'd probably trade back. I think you could get him a little later in 6.
I think he's a quarterback, so you have to take him at 6.
I don't know.
If he's available at 6, I mean, what else are you really going to trade back for? Like,
that's fair.
It's such a valuable position.
If you trade back, like, if you were to be able to pick up like a third or something, like if you just like trade up, like, what if someone like really wants like Devin Lloyd or something, and like they try to jump in front of like the Patriots or something, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so. That'd be tough. Last question I want to ask you is, in terms of tight ends that you're buying higher than most people next year.
Are we talking Dynasty, redraft? What's up?
Let's talk Dynasty.
Dynasty, someone that I am much higher on than I think a lot of other people. Jake Ferguson. He's a rookie coming out of Wisconsin.
You big Wisconsin fan.
Dude, but he's a big Wisconsin guy. He's 6'5". He's like 250. He's like a prototypical tight end, what you want to see.
Yeah.
He's a great blocker, so he's going to be out there on a lot of plays, so he's going to be able to boot on play actions.
Can he catch?
Oh, he's a great catcher.
Okay.
I think he kind of got a little knock today at his combine just because I think he ran a little slower than what I wanted to see.
What do you think his 40 would be?
Well, I'll pull it up for you because I was looking at it earlier. Okay. I think he was around like the 4.8 or something, which for a tight end isn't terrible.
That's not bad, yeah.
Yeah, he ran a 4.81. So, I mean, like, that's not terrible. But it seems like this guy is pretty explosive. His bench press was a little lower. He only had 15 reps.
So you like him for Dynasty?
I like him for Dynasty, yeah. He seems like he can be like one of those prototypical tight ends. I don't think you need to spend much capital on him. I think if you get him in like the 4th or 5th, depending on obviously where he falls in the NFL draft.
Yeah.
And like if they have like an open tight end room and if you see him starting, I think you could go in like the 4th or 5th. But if he goes somewhere and like you think he's just going to be like a developing player, 5th max. If not, he might go undrafted in Dynasty.
What about Trey McBride?
Trey McBride, it depends on where he falls or where he goes. I don't think he's going to fall much really at all.
Yeah.
I've seen like some mocks of him going to like the Packers and stuff, and I mean obviously the Packers would need a tight end who could really stretch the field. I think honestly I don't know, the Packers I feel like they're kind of set at tight end. Yeah. But like there's other teams that do need tight ends or prolific tight ends.
I like Trey McBride more than I like Pat Freiermuth last year.
That's fair. I could definitely
I also like him more than I like Cole Kmet the year before.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I'm in the same boat as you.
Which I believe this year he'll go in like the 3rd round of the Dynasty draft.
Yeah.
Maybe late 2nd.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, if someone needs a tight end. Yeah.
But if I had a mid-2nd and I was really drained at tight end, and I'm starting people like Jared Cook, I'm starting people like Austin Hooper.
So you need someone with some longevity.
Like, I need somebody who's going to step in. Obviously, tight ends take some time to develop.
Yeah.
So you can play Jared Cook or Austin Hooper for another year.
So would you keep him in the taxi? I wouldn't.
I'd keep him in my taxi my first year.
I wouldn't keep
because you want to take a flyer on another tight end if you have the roster space.
Nah, I would. I think McBride's gonna come in. I think he's gonna make an impact. I don't think he's gonna make like a huge.
Yeah, but you could just move him off your taxi if he makes an impact.
True, but I don't think you want to lose out on those. I don't know. Like on the first couple games, I think like if he gets like a couple TDs, that's gonna hurt if he's on your bench or in your taxi.
Yeah.
I don't know. It obviously, like we said, depends on the scheme that he goes to.
That's fair enough too.
But I guess tight ends overall that you could take flyers on in Dynasty. You could always look towards like a Josiah DeGara or DeGara. He's the tight end out of the Packers right now. He's going into I think his third year. Mm-hmm. Seems like he might be having a little bit of drop issues, and maybe the Packers are looking to get a tight end for that reason.
Yeah.
But you know he might be dropped in your league. So if you wanted to take a flyer on someone to keep in a spot, he could possibly pop off this year if they don't pick up another tight end.
Yep, I agree.
Because Bobby, he's either gone or Robert Tonyan, he's either gone or he's going to be out for like the first half of the year with his torn ACL. Mm-hmm. And they'll have Mercedes Lewis, I think. But he's more of a blocking guy. So Tonyan, he could definitely step in. Or I'm sorry, Josiah DeGara, he could step in, get some of those catches. He's a little bit of a faster tight end, and they actually had him playing like the H-back role as well, like the tight end or the fullback role. Yeah. So he's able to kind of get shifted around out there. They like his versatility, so I would take a flyer on him. But I'm obviously a Packers fan. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there. Noah Gray, shoot, man. Like,
Noah Gray, yeah.
I know you like Noah Gray.
Big Noah Gray fan.
So I don't know, man. Like, there's a lot of flyers out there. Go find your guy. Go find your guy. I mean, there's a lot of tight ends, man. Just I don't know. There's gonna be someone for you out there for sure if you're looking for one.
I'm really big on John Bates.
Why is that?
John Bates for the Commanders.
Okay.
Because he played all 17 games last year. Mm-hmm. He had 20 catches, I think, throughout the year. Okay. He started like the last 8 games basically of the season.
Yeah. Where was he utilized most? Because I know.
So he averaged something around like 2 catches a game, 26 yards a game, on maybe like 2.5, 3 targets a game.
Yeah.
So he was kind of like that probably third down block and release passing option.
Yeah.
You know?
I only asked that because I saw Ian Thomas of the Panthers. He just signed a new deal with them. Mm-hmm. And, like, some people are like, oh, like, why would they do that? Like, this and that. Oh, like, he's... Yeah. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like with the Panthers, I feel like Trumbull's going to be their next best receiving tight end. I think Ian Thomas is definitely more of a blocking guy. And so, I don't know. Like, I understand why they signed him to a new long deal because I know they want to obviously get a running game going and having those tight ends that can do it. Yeah. And maybe Ian Thomas can diversify his game and become more of a pass catcher too. So, if you're an Ian Thomas or an Ian Thomas owner, he might be a flyer you could take or if you're not an owner of him, he could be a flyer that you take as well.
I like that. Ian Thomas is a scoop.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's really all that world renowned out here. I mean,
it's no different than how like the Packers kept Mercedes Lewis around.
Definitely, but I think he's still obviously younger than him. Yeah, and I think he has a high ceiling at this point since he just got signed to a new deal. Obviously, the team wants him
for sure. Well, shit, that's an episode. So, thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate you. We're trying to get better every week, so drop comments. Let us know how we can improve. I appreciate you guys. My name's Jah.
I'm Dugo. If you want to hear more of Edner, let us know. We would like to have him on as well. If you guys hate him, let us know. Or if we hate him as well, so.
If you guys want to tap into, just leave comments below and let us know. We're always down to call a fan, so.
Absolutely. We'll appreciate you guys tuning in again. I'm Dugo.
I'm Jah. And, We'll see you guys
later.
Let's get
out of here, man. Get us a nice little beat.
Oh, should I do some, oh, wait. I got it. Hey.
Alright, I might go through a vote.
Wait, what? Wait, really?
No.
Hey.
Hey.